There are moments in life when everything feels strangely different, yet nothing seems to have outwardly changed. The people around you appear the same, your home looks unchanged, your daily routine continues, but something within you knows. A shift has occurred. Reality bends not through force, but through the quiet movements of the mind. You have stepped into a new version of yourself, and with it a new world has unfolded around you. Perhaps you notice how effortlessly things align for you now. The struggle you once knew has faded, replaced by a quiet certainty that life is unfolding in your favor. The things you used to chase now seem to come to you. You speak and the right people appear. You think and circumstances rearrange themselves. What was once a hope is now a knowing. You do not question whether your desires will manifest. You recognize that they already have. The moment you stopped looking at reality as something fixed, it responded by flowing in your direction. Maybe you feel disconnected from the past, as if the events that once defined you no longer hold the same weight. The memories are there, but they seem distant, almost as if they happened to someone else. The pain you once carried feels foreign, as though you have stepped out of an old story and into a new script. The relationships that once drained you have faded, and in their place you find new connections that reflect the person you have become. You wonder why you no longer resonate with certain places, habits, or thoughts, but it is because you are no longer the person who created them. The world mirrors who you are being, not who you were. You find yourself meeting people who speak in ways that echo your inner thoughts. Strangers bring you messages as if the universe is using them to confirm what you already know. A sentence in a book, a phrase overheard in passing, a sign that catches your eye. Each one seems to answer the question you didn't even ask aloud. You are in the right place, at the right time, in a reality that responds to the frequency of your consciousness. Time feels different. Some days move like a blur, others stretch as if eternity is contained within a single moment. The urgency you once felt has disappeared. You no longer chase time because you understand that you are beyond it. You realize that what you seek is not in the future, but here, in the eternal now. The waiting game is over because you no longer believe in lack. You embody the truth that all things are already yours, and so they reveal themselves to you in divine sequence. You begin to see that the world around you is softer, more fluid, more dreamlike. Colors appear more vibrant, the air feels lighter, and even the most ordinary moments are filled with an unexplainable beauty. You wake up with a sense of peace, an inner knowing that all is well, even if you cannot explain why. The external world may try to convince you otherwise, but deep inside, you are unshaken. You have left behind the illusion of doubt and stepped into the certainty of creation. You no longer need proof from the outside world because you understand that the world is a reflection of you. Your mind shapes reality, not the other way around. What once required effort now happens naturally. The more you accept this, the more evidence appears, not to convince you but to affirm what you already trust. You smile to yourself, recognizing that you have become the cause, not the effect. The old way of thinking dissolves, and with it the old world you once knew. Reality has shifted. Because you have shifted, the mirror no longer reflects who you were, but who you have chosen to become. And in this realization, you know you have already crossed the threshold into a parallel world, one where you are no longer hoping but living the truth of your imagination. There is a moment, subtle yet profound, when you realize the world no longer moves against you but flows effortlessly in harmony with your desires. You cannot pinpoint the exact second it happened, nor can you explain it in words that satisfy the logical mind, but something within you knows. You have shifted. You have stepped into a parallel reality, one that reflects the transformation of your consciousness, and yet it happened so naturally that you hardly noticed. The evidence is everywhere. The way the air feels lighter, as if a burden has been lifted from your soul. The way you wake up with a quiet certainty that all is unfolding exactly as it should. You no longer ask for signs because you no longer need them. The search for confirmation has dissolved, replaced by a deep inner knowing that what you once hoped for is now simply a part of you. What seemed distant is now here, and what once felt impossible is now unfolding with ease. You observe the world around you, and suddenly the familiar feels unfamiliar. The streets you have walked 1,000 times seem different. The conversations you once entertained now feel empty. You no longer resonate with the same arguments, distractions, or fears that once held you captive. The people in your life shift. Some fade away effortlessly, while others appear as if drawn to you by an unseen force. You are not doing anything differently on the outside, yet everything around you is adjusting to meet the frequency of your inner world. You notice that time itself no longer feels the same. There are moments when hours pass like seconds, and others when a single moment stretches into eternity. The urgency you once felt about achieving your dreams is gone, because you understand now that you are already living them. The waiting game has ended, not because the external circumstances have changed overnight, but because your perception of time has shifted. The future is no longer something ahead of you. It is something you are pulling into the now with every thought, every feeling, every assumption. Memories of your past begin to feel distant, as if they belong to another version of you, one who no longer exists. The pain, the disappointments, the limitations, they all seem like shadows of a reality you have stepped out of. When you try to recall how it felt to struggle, you find that you cannot. It is not that you deny what once was, but rather that you have detached from it completely. You are no longer the person who suffered, and so you no longer live in the world where suffering was necessary. Your manifestations appear more quickly, more seamlessly, without the strain of effort. What once required intense focus now requires only belief. You think of something and it appears. You desire something and it is drawn to you with perfect timing. The invisible hand of divine orchestration moves all things into place without your interference. You do not chase, you do not force, you do not grasp at reality, trying to mold it into shape. You simply assume, and reality conforms. The laws that govern this world respond to the certainty of your mind, not to the effort of your hands. The people around you begin to reflect your inner transformation. Some will tell you that you seem different, though they cannot explain why. Some will look at you with confusion, as if they sense something has changed, but cannot grasp what it is. Others will drift away entirely, unable to match the vibration of the reality you now occupy. New faces appear, new opportunities arise, and everything that once felt like an obstacle is replaced by a path that opens effortlessly before you. You feel a peace that you never knew before. The external world may still move in its chaos, but it no longer disturbs you. The circumstances that once triggered fear or doubt now pass through you like wind through an open window. You have stepped beyond reaction, beyond resistance. There's no need to fight what is, because you now understand that all is unfolding from within you. The world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Dreams that once felt distant now feel inevitable. The person you once aspired to be is no longer a future version of yourself, but the one you are embodying in this very moment. You do not wait for external proof to believe. You believe, and so the proof appears. You live as if your desires are already fulfilled, and in doing so you pull them into form. The outer world is catching up to the shift that has already occurred within you. You begin to notice how fluid reality truly is. What once felt solid and unchangeable now bends effortlessly to the assumptions you hold. Money flows easily, not because you chase it, but because you no longer resist it. Love appears, not because you seek it, but because you have become it. Opportunities arise, not because you struggle for them, but because you are aligned with the version of yourself that naturally attracts them. What you once labeled as luck, coincidence, or destiny is now revealed to be nothing more than the result of the consciousness you embody. Your dreams no longer feel like distant goals to be achieved. They feel like memories of a future that is already real. You no longer ask when it will happen, because you understand that it already has. The illusion of separation between thought and manifestation has dissolved. The moment you decide something is yours, reality rushes to make it so. The only thing that ever delayed your manifestations was your own disbelief. Now, you believe effortlessly, and so reality bends without resistance. You begin to understand that shifting into a new reality is not a matter of struggle, but of surrender. It is not about forcing the world to change, but about allowing yourself to step into the version of you that already exists in the reality you desire. The path was never about effort, but about alignment. The moment you accepted this truth, the world rearranged itself to reflect it. Your body feels lighter, your mind is clearer, your emotions no longer control you, for you have learned to control them. You have mastered the art of assumption, the power of faith, the realization that reality is simply a mirror reflecting the state of your consciousness. You no longer live by effort, but by knowing. You do not beg for what is already yours, you claim it with certainty. You do not wait for signs, you create them with belief. You do not chase anything, for you understand that all things are drawn to you when you align with their frequency. The world outside of you continues to unfold in perfect harmony. People, places, events, they all shift effortlessly to accommodate the reality you have chosen. You watch in awe as life moves in your favor without force, without resistance. Every moment affirms that you are exactly where you need to be, experiencing exactly what you have aligned with. You see now that nothing ever happens to you, it happens through you, in response to you, as a perfect reflection of the consciousness you hold. You have shifted, and though the world may still seem familiar, you know deep within that nothing is the same. The reality you live in now is one of your own making, shaped by the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the certainty with which you walk. The old world has faded, and the new world has risen in its place. And the greatest realization of all, this was never about changing the world. It was always about changing you. The shift is subtle, yet undeniable. You wake up one day and the world around you feels different, though nothing outwardly seems to have changed. The same people, the same places, the same routines, yet something within you knows that you have stepped into a new reality. You try to explain it, but words fall short. It is not something that can be proven to others. It is something only you can feel. The air seems clearer, time flows differently, and a deep sense of peace replaces the restless search you once carried within you. You no longer seek signs because everything now speaks to you. The clock aligning to a perfect sequence, the song lyrics that echo your thoughts, the stranger's words that answer an unspoken question. These are no longer mere coincidences. They are reflections of your new state of being. You have become one with the flow of life, and in doing so, the world has begun to respond to you in ways you never imagined possible. Your desires no longer feel distant. They do not exist in some far-off future waiting for you to reach them. They feel present, as if they are already a part of your reality. You no longer wonder if they will come, you know they already have. The delay that once plagued you has vanished, because you no longer believe in waiting. You have embraced the truth that the moment you assume something to be real, it is already done. You do not chase, you do not force, you simply know, and the world reshapes itself accordingly. The past no longer defines you. The memories that once haunted you have lost their power. When you think back, it is as if those events happened to someone else, in another lifetime, in another version of reality, that you no longer occupy. The pain that once clung to you now feels foreign, unfamiliar, as though it belongs to a story that is no longer yours. You have stepped out of the identity that suffered, and with it you have left behind the reality that contained that suffering. Your thoughts have become your greatest tool, and you wield them with intention. You do not react to circumstances, you create them. You understand now that what you entertain in your mind is what will manifest in your world. There is no outside force controlling your destiny. You are the writer, the director, the creator. Every thought, every assumption, every feeling is shaping the reality you walk into. And so you guard your mind carefully. You do not dwell on lack, on fear, on doubt. because you know that to do so would only create more of it. Instead, you think only of what you desire, knowing with absolute certainty that it must come to pass. You find yourself surrounded by different people. Some old faces remain, but many have faded away, unable to follow you into this new reality. You do not mourn their absence because you understand that they were only a reflection of the old version of you. The ones who remain, the ones who have appeared, are those who match the new frequency you have stepped into. They speak the language of possibility, of abundance, of certainty. They mirror the new you, the one who no longer doubts, who no longer waits, who no longer questions whether or not they are worthy of the life they desire. Synchronicities increase. Things you once labeled as luck or coincidence now happen so often that you can no longer deny their significance. You think of someone and they call. You imagine an opportunity and it appears. You desire something and it finds its way to you with perfect timing. There is no struggle, no resistance, no need to chase. Everything flows naturally, effortlessly, as if reality itself is rearranging to fit your vision. And in truth it is. You no longer feel separate from your desires. You have become one with them, and so they manifest without effort. You have lost the need to control. The fear that once dictated your actions has disappeared. You no longer try to force outcomes because you trust that all is unfolding exactly as it should. You do not rush. You do not panic. You do not cling to things that are leaving. You understand that whatever is meant for you cannot miss you, and whatever is no longer aligned with your path will fall away effortlessly. There is no need to grasp, no need to hold on. What is truly yours will stay. You no longer measure progress the way you once did. You do not look at the physical world for proof, for you know that everything is already complete in the unseen before it materializes in the seen. You do not doubt just because your eyes have yet to witness it. You understand that reality is shaped from within first, and so you trust what you feel over what you see. You live as if it is already done, and because of that, it becomes done. The illusion of waiting disappears, replaced by the certainty of knowing. The struggle to prove yourself to others is gone. You do not need validation. You do not seek approval. You do not require anyone to understand your path. You know who you are. You know what you are capable of. You no longer look outside of yourself for confirmation because everything you need is already within. The opinions of others no longer sway you, for you have built your foundation on something unshakable. Your own belief. The energy of your life has shifted. The things that once drained you no longer hold power over you. The environments that once felt heavy are no longer a match for you. You do not engage in conflict, in negativity, in drama, because you understand that to do so would be to invite that energy into your reality. Instead, you walk in peace, you move with purpose, you radiate certainty. And because of that, life responds to you with the same energy you put out. You have mastered the art of assumption. You do not hope, you assume. You do not wish, you declare. You do not wait, you claim. You have stepped into the version of yourself that already has everything you desire, and because of that, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is not magic, nor is it a secret. It is simply the law of existence. The external world is a mirror, nothing more, nothing less. And you have learned to use that mirror to your advantage. Your days are filled with an unshakable peace. You wake up knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly. You move through life with confidence, no longer questioning whether or not things will work out in your favor. You know they will. And so you no longer ask, have I shifted? You no longer seek proof. You no longer wonder if you are in a different reality. You know. You feel it in every breath, in every step, in every moment that unfolds before you. You have shifted, and the world has shifted with you. The old reality is gone. The old struggles have faded, and you are now standing in the version of life you once dreamed of. And the most powerful realization of all, this was never about forcing reality to change. It was never about manipulating the outside world. It was always, only, ever about shifting you. And the moment you did, reality had no choice but to follow. You find that time no longer moves the way it once did. Moments stretch and contract in ways that defy logic. You think of something and suddenly it appears before you faster than ever. Or perhaps the things you once obsessed over now seem distant, irrelevant, as if they belong to a reality you have left behind. You no longer feel bound by the clock, by deadlines, by the frantic rush of the world around you. There is a stillness within you, a quiet understanding that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You do not need to chase, to force, to control. You simply are, and that is enough. The people in your life begin to reflect your inner shift. Some fade away effortlessly, as if their presence was only meant for the version of you that no longer exists. You do not hold on to them, you do not try to bring them back, for you understand now that every person who crosses your path is a reflection of your inner state. New faces appear, people who mirror your new energy, your new beliefs, your new assumptions. They speak your language, they understand without explanation. The relationships you once had, based on struggle and misunderstanding, are replaced by connections that feel effortless, as if they were always meant to be. You notice the way the world reacts to you has changed. You walk into a room and people seem drawn to you without knowing why. You speak and your words carry a power they never had before. You no longer feel like a passive observer in your own life. You are the center, the source, the cause. You have shifted into the version of yourself that commands reality, not by force, but by absolute certainty. Others feel this, though they may not understand it. Some will admire it, some will resist it, but it does not matter. You are no longer concerned with how others perceive you, because you know that perception itself is an illusion. Your emotions no longer control you. Where once you were tossed by the waves of doubt, fear, and frustration, you now remain steady. You do not react, you observe. You feel emotions arise, but instead of identifying with them, you watch them, knowing that they are not you. You do not spiral into worry, because you know that every state is temporary, every thought fleeting, every moment an opportunity to choose again. You choose peace again and again, and so peace becomes your reality. The fear that once gripped you now seems absurd. The anxiety that once ruled your mind now feels foreign, as if it belonged to someone else entirely. And in truth, it did. It belonged to the old you, the one you have left behind. Your dreams are no longer distant fantasies. They feel near, tangible, as if they are already part of your world. You do not question how they will arrive, you simply know they will, and so they do. You walk through life as if you already have everything you have ever wanted, and because of that, reality bends to match your assumption. The external world is no longer something you battle against, something you must change. It is a mirror, nothing more, nothing less. It reflects back to you exactly what you expect, and you have learned to expect the best. The things that once frustrated you no longer do. You do not engage in arguments. You do not waste energy proving yourself. You do not try to convince anyone of anything. You understand now that everyone is experiencing their own reality, shaped by their own beliefs, their own assumptions. You do not need to change them. You only need to focus on your own state of being. And as you do, the world around you shifts effortlessly. You begin to notice the small, miraculous moments that once escaped you. The way the sun feels warmer on your skin, the way the wind carries messages, the way nature itself seems to whisper in agreement with your thoughts. The world is alive, conscious, responding to you in ways you never noticed before. You are no longer separate from it. You are one with it. The rules you once believed in no longer apply. You were told things take time, but you see now that time is only a construct of the mind. You were told success requires struggle, but you now live in a reality where success flows with ease. You were told you must work hard to be worthy, but you have come to understand that you were worthy all along. The old beliefs, the limitations, the barriers, they were never real. They were only reflections of the thoughts you once accepted as truth. And now that you have shifted, those old truths have crumbled, replaced by a reality that serves you. You no longer wait for signs. You do not ask the universe for permission. You do not hesitate, wondering if you are on the right path. You have become the sign. Your certainty is the signal. Your belief is the proof. You have stepped into a version of yourself that no longer seeks confirmation, because you know deep within that you are always exactly where you need to be. The concept of luck dissolves. You no longer view success, love, and abundance as random occurrences that happen to some and not others. You see clearly now that everything is a reflection of state. Those who assume they are lucky will always be lucky. Those who assume they struggle will always struggle. You have released the old state, and in doing so, you have stepped into a reality where things work in your favor, not because of chance, but because you have chosen it. Your inner dialogue shifts. The voice that once doubted you has gone quiet. The thoughts that once sabotaged you no longer have a place in your mind. You speak to yourself with love, with encouragement, with absolute belief. You no longer ask if things will work out. You assume they already have. You do not dwell on failure, for you know failure is just an illusion, a stepping stone to the next moment of success. And then, one day you wake up and realize you can no longer relate to the version of you that once struggled. The worries that once consumed you now seem ridiculous. The limitations you once believed in feel like a distant memory. You have shifted, fully, completely, into a new reality. Not because the world has changed, but because you have changed. And that is all it ever took. You walk through life with a sense of ease that was never there before. The tension that once lived in your body has vanished. The weight of uncertainty, the pressure of proving yourself, the endless struggle to be enough, it has all dissolved. You no longer chase because you know you do not need to. You no longer fear because you trust. There is a deep knowing within you that everything is already unfolding perfectly. You no longer resist life. You flow with it, and because of this, life itself flows in your favor. You begin to notice how people respond to you differently. Strangers smile at you more often, opportunities arise effortlessly, and conversations seem to hold deeper meaning. You are no longer invisible to the world. You radiate something unspoken, something magnetic. You do not seek attention, yet it finds you. You do not seek validation, yet you are validated by life itself. You move through the world with quiet confidence, with an energy that speaks louder than words. The things that once triggered you no longer hold power over you. Someone says something unkind, and instead of reacting, you simply observe. You do not absorb negativity, because you understand it has nothing to do with you. You no longer take things personally, because you know that everything is a reflection of state. If negativity no longer lives within you, it cannot affect you. The old patterns, the old reactions, they belong to a past version of you that no longer exists. You have stepped beyond them. Your desires feel closer than ever, not as distant dreams, but as present realities. You no longer ask when things will happen. You live as if they already have. You do not wait for proof before you believe. You believe first, and the proof follows. You understand now that you are always shifting, always choosing, always moving toward the reality that aligns with your assumptions. You do not force change, you become the change. You embody the energy of the life you desire, and reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. You see the world differently now. The same streets, the same sky, the same faces, yet everything feels new. Colors seem richer, sounds more vivid. You feel more connected, as if the world itself is responding to your energy. The synchronicities increase, numbers align, messages appear at the perfect moment, events unfold with divine precision. You realize these things were always happening, but you were not yet aware. Now you see, now you know. You no longer dwell in the past, the old regrets, the what-ifs, the things that once haunted you. They hold no weight here. You have stepped into a reality where the past no longer defines you. The memories may still exist, but they no longer carry pain. You have rewritten your story, not by changing the past, but by changing you. And because you have changed, the meaning of everything that came before has changed with you. You feel lighter. The burdens you once carried, the guilt, the doubt, the fear of failure, have all dissolved. You no longer need to be perfect. You no longer need to control everything. You have surrendered to a greater knowing, a deeper trust. You walk forward with an open heart, allowing life to meet you with the same openness. And because of this, life feels kinder, softer, more abundant. The need for external validation fades. You no longer look to others to tell you who you are. You do not seek approval because you have approved of yourself. You do not seek love because you are love. You no longer fear being misunderstood because you understand yourself. The people who belong in your reality now are those who reflect your wholeness, not your wounds. The relationships that once drained you naturally fade, and in their place, connections of truth and authenticity emerge. The material world does not dictate your inner state anymore. You may have once felt trapped by circumstances, by bank balances, by the opinions of others, but now you see beyond the illusion. You understand that the external is only a reflection of the internal, and the moment you shift within, the outside world rearranges itself accordingly. You do not worry about how things will unfold. You trust that they will. And so they do. You notice how effortlessly things fall into place, the delays, the resistance, the endless striving. Those were all symptoms of an old reality where struggle was necessary, but now things come with ease. You do not chase after opportunities, they come to you. You do not fight for love, it flows effortlessly. You do not force success, it unfolds naturally. You have aligned with the version of yourself where things happen smoothly, and so they do. You feel a deep sense of peace, not because life is suddenly perfect, but because you no longer require perfection to be at peace. You are no longer waiting for the next achievement, the next milestone, the next external confirmation to feel fulfilled. You are fulfilled now, here, in this moment. And because of that, life continues to give you more reasons to feel fulfilled. You realize that reality itself is fluid, bending, shifting, molding itself to your assumptions. The moment you change your mind, reality changes with it. The things you once believed were set in stone now feel malleable. You no longer believe in limits because you have seen how easily they dissolve. The impossible now seems entirely possible. You no longer ask if miracles exist, you live them. You feel gratitude, not just for the big things, but for everything, for the air you breathe, for the warmth of the sun, for the smallest moments of beauty. Gratitude is no longer something you practice, it is something you are. And because of that, life continues to give you more reasons to be grateful. You no longer try to convince anyone of anything. You do not need to. You understand now that everyone is living in their own version of reality, shaped by their own beliefs, their own assumptions. You do not waste energy trying to awaken those who are not ready. You simply are. And your being is enough. Those who are meant to see will see. Those who are meant to awaken will awaken. You have no need to push, to force, to argue. You simply live in your truth, and that is more powerful than any words could ever be. You wake up each morning with a sense of excitement, not because of what might happen, but simply because you exist. You no longer live in expectation of the future. You are fully present in the now. The joy you once thought could only come from reaching a goal is now something you experience every day, in the smallest moments, in the quietest spaces. You realize that you have already become everything you once sought. You are no longer seeking love, success, happiness. You are living it. And because of that, more of it continues to flow into your life effortlessly. You have shifted, not because you waited, not because you forced it, but because you became it. And now, as you stand in this new reality, you know without a doubt that this was always possible. that this was always within you, that you were never waiting for life to change. You were only waiting to see that you had the power to change it all along. You notice that time feels different. The days no longer drag on endlessly, nor do they slip away unnoticed. Instead, time bends to your awareness. Moments of joy seem to stretch infinitely, while things that once brought frustration pass by quickly, as if they no longer hold weight in your world. You are not rushing toward the future, nor are you stuck in the past. You exist in the eternal now, fully present, fully alive. And because of this, life responds to you in kind. What you need arrives at the perfect moment. What you desire manifests effortlessly. You are no longer at war with time. You are in harmony with it. People from your past reappear, not by chance, but because you have shifted. Some come to acknowledge your transformation as if drawn by an unseen force. Others return, yet they feel like strangers because they belong to an old version of you that no longer exists. You see clearly now that relationships are reflections. The people who remain in your life are those who align with your new state of being. The ones who fade away do so because they are no longer a match for who you have become. There is no sadness in their departure, only gratitude for the role they played in your journey. The way you make decisions has changed. You no longer hesitate, no longer doubt yourself. The confusion that once clouded your mind has lifted, replaced by a deep inner knowing. You trust yourself completely. You no longer ask, "What should I do?" Instead, you listen. And the answer comes not from logic or fear, but from a place beyond thought. You act with certainty, as if guided by an unseen hand, because you are. The days of second guessing, of seeking reassurance, of needing external validation, those days are gone. You move with confidence, because you know that the path before you is already laid out. Your dreams feel more vivid, more real than ever before. At night you step into worlds that feel just as tangible as waking life. You receive messages, glimpses of what is to come, reminders of what you already know deep within. You wake up with the feeling that something has shifted, even if you cannot put it into words. The veil between dreams and reality grows thinner, and you realize that both are equally real. You understand now that what you see in your dreams is not separate from your waking life. It is a preview, a creation in motion, a reality waiting to unfold. Your thoughts manifest faster than ever before. What once took months or years to materialize now appears in days, sometimes moments. You think of someone and they call you. You imagine an outcome and it happens. There is no doubt, no hesitation, no wondering if it will come. You simply expect it, and so it does. You do not force, you do not chase, you do not beg. You simply assume, and reality aligns accordingly. The invisible laws that govern creation are no longer theories to you. You have tested them, witnessed them, lived them. And because of this, you no longer ask how things will happen. You trust that they already have. You experience moments of déjà vu, but not in the way you once did. It is not just a fleeting sensation, it is a deep, undeniable knowing. You walk into places you have never been, yet they feel familiar. You hear words spoken that you feel you have heard before. It is as if you are remembering a life you have already lived, a reality you have already chosen. And in those moments you smile, because you understand now that time is not linear. The past, present, and future exist all at once, and you are simply stepping into the version of yourself that you have already created. You realize that the struggles you once faced were never punishments, never obstacles. They were only signs that you were not yet aligned with what you desired. There was never anything working against you. The only resistance was within you. And now that you have shifted, the struggles dissolve. What once felt like barriers now feel like stepping stones, guiding you to exactly where you were meant to be. You no longer see problems, you only see possibilities. You no longer feel lack, you only feel abundance. You have transcended the need to struggle because you understand that life was never meant to be difficult. It was only waiting for you to stop resisting. You feel an overwhelming sense of love, not just for others, but for yourself. The self-criticism, the doubt, the unworthiness, they have all vanished. You look in the mirror and see yourself not as flawed, not as lacking, but as divine. You understand now that you were never broken, you were never incomplete. You were always whole, always worthy, always enough. And because you have embraced this truth, love flows to you effortlessly. Love is no longer something you search for, it is something you are. The need to explain yourself disappears. You do not waste energy justifying your dreams, your choices, your beliefs. You do not argue with those who do not understand, because you know that understanding is not required. You do not seek to be accepted, because you have accepted yourself. And because of this, you are free. Free from the expectations of others, free from the limitations of the past, free to live in full alignment with your truth. The past no longer defines you. The pain you once carried, the mistakes you once regretted, the wounds that once felt permanent, they no longer hold power over you. You have rewritten your story not by changing the past, but by stepping into the version of yourself that has already healed. The past exists only as a memory, and you are no longer attached to it. You are no longer bound by what was. You are only guided by what is. You feel a connection to something greater than yourself, something vast, infinite, divine. You understand now that you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe. You are not a small being moving through life. You are life itself, expressing through form. The feeling of isolation, of being alone in your struggles, has disappeared. You know now that you are supported, always, that the universe is not outside of you, but within you, that every experience, every moment, every shift is guiding you closer to the truth of who you are. You no longer try to force reality to bend to your will, because you see now that it was never about control, it was always about surrender. Not surrender in the sense of giving up, but surrender in the sense of allowing. You allow life to unfold as it was meant to. You allow your desires to come to you effortlessly. You allow yourself to trust in the unseen. And because of this, life feels lighter, easier, more miraculous. You have shifted, not by luck, not by chance, but by choice. You have stepped into a parallel reality, not through effort, but through alignment. And now as you look around, you realize that everything is different. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. And as you continue to walk this path, you understand one thing with absolute certainty. This was always your destiny. You were always meant to awaken. You were always meant to see beyond the illusion. You were always meant to step into the highest version of yourself. And now you have. There is a sense of peace that follows you wherever you go. The noise of the world, the endless distractions, the chaos that once felt overwhelming, it no longer affects you. You are no longer pulled in 1,000 directions, no longer chasing after things that do not serve you. You move through life with ease, unbothered by the opinions of others, unaffected by the negativity that once drained you. The things that used to trigger you, the conflicts that once consumed you, now feel distant, as if they belong to someone else entirely. You realize that you no longer need to react to everything around you. Instead, you observe. You choose where to place your energy. You understand now that true power lies not in controlling the external world, but in mastering your internal state. You notice that your surroundings reflect your inner transformation. Colors seem more vibrant, sounds more harmonious, the air itself feels lighter. Even the people you encounter seem different, kinder, more open, more aligned with the energy you now embody. The conversations you engage in are no longer filled with complaints, gossip, or fear. Instead, they are uplifting, meaningful, filled with wisdom and purpose. The environments you find yourself in feel safe, supportive, abundant. It is as if the entire world has conspired to mirror back to you the shift that has taken place within. There is a knowing within you that cannot be explained, only felt. You no longer seek answers outside of yourself because you understand that everything you need to know is already within. The questions that once tormented you have dissolved, not because they were answered, but because they no longer matter. You are no longer searching for your purpose because you have become it. You do not need signs or confirmations from the outside world because your own intuition has become your guiding light. You trust yourself fully, knowing that every step you take is leading you exactly where you are meant to go. Your perception of abundance has changed. Wealth is no longer something you chase. It is something you attract effortlessly. You have shifted from a mindset of lack to one of complete sufficiency. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You feel gratitude before receiving, knowing that everything you desire is already yours in the unseen. Money, success, love, all of it flows to you not because you struggle for it, but because you have aligned with the energy of already having it. You realize now that abundance was never about accumulating more. It was always about recognizing what you already are. Your body feels different, lighter, stronger, more alive. The aches and pains that once weighed you down have vanished, as if your physical form has adjusted to match the new frequency you are living in. You no longer crave the things that once drained your energy. The foods you eat nourish you in ways they never did before. The need for excessive rest has diminished because you no longer carry the burdens of worry and stress. Your body moves with ease, responding to the clarity and peace that now reside within you. Your emotions no longer control you. You feel deeply, but you are no longer enslaved by your feelings. Sadness, anger, frustration, they come and go, like passing clouds in the sky, but they do not define you. You have learned to witness them without attachment, to allow them to move through you without resistance. You do not suppress, nor do you dwell. You simply allow. And because of this, emotions no longer drain you, they empower you. Every feeling, every sensation is simply another expression of the life flowing through you. You notice synchronicities everywhere, numbers repeating, symbols appearing, moments of perfect alignment that cannot be explained by coincidence. You think of something, and moments later it appears in your reality. You speak of a person, and they call you. The universe seems to be in constant conversation with you, reflecting back your thoughts, your energy, your state of being. You understand now that these are not random occurrences. They are confirmations, proof that you are in harmony with the greater intelligence that orchestrates all things. You are no longer afraid. Fear, once the invisible chain that held you back, has dissolved. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of uncertainty, they no longer hold power over you. You have stepped beyond them, realizing that fear was never real to begin with. You move forward with courage, not because you no longer face challenges, but because you know they cannot stop you. You no longer hesitate, no longer wait for the perfect moment, because you understand that the perfect moment is the one you decide to act upon. Your past no longer defines you. The stories you once told yourself, the limitations, the regrets, the mistakes, they have all lost their grip on you. You are no longer reliving the same cycles, no longer repeating the same patterns. You have broken free. You have rewritten your narrative. You have stepped into a version of yourself that no longer carries the burdens of yesterday. You look back with gratitude, but you do not dwell. The only direction that matters now is forward. You have stopped seeking happiness outside of yourself. It is no longer found in material things, in achievements, in validation from others. It is within you, constant, unshakable. You wake up each day with a deep sense of contentment, not because everything in your life is perfect, but because you no longer need it to be. You understand that happiness is not something you chase, it is something you choose. And because of this, life responds to you in ways that feel nothing short of miraculous. You no longer resist change. What once felt frightening now excites you. You welcome the unknown, knowing that every shift, every transformation is only bringing you closer to your highest self. You do not cling to the past, nor do you try to control the future. You surrender to the flow of life, trusting that it is always guiding you to exactly where you need to be. The need to struggle, to force, to push against reality has faded. You allow, and in allowing, you receive. You feel an overwhelming sense of unity with everything around you, the trees, the sky, the people you pass on the street. You see yourself in all of them. The illusion of separation has vanished. You understand now that you are not just a single being moving through the world. You are the world. Every experience, every interaction, every moment is a reflection of the infinite presence that flows through you and around you. You are at peace, not just in fleeting moments, but always. This peace is not dependent on circumstances, not shaken by external events. It is rooted deep within you, unmovable, eternal. You have become the embodiment of stillness, the eye of the storm, untouched by the chaos that once surrounded you. You understand now that peace was never something to be found, it was something to become. And now you are it. You have shifted. There is no doubt, no questioning, no wondering if it has happened. You know. And as you stand in this new reality, you realize that the greatest secret of all was never hidden from you. It was only waiting for you to see. The world has not changed. You have. And because you have changed, the world now reflects the truths you have always known deep within. That you are limitless, that you are powerful, that you are the creator of your own reality. And so you stand here now, awakened to the truth that was always within you. You have shifted, not because the world outside of you changed, but because you did. You no longer seek signs of transformation because you are the transformation. You no longer wonder if you have stepped into a new reality because every moment confirms it. You are no longer bound by the past, nor fearful of the future. You exist fully, powerfully, in the now. And in this moment, you realize there was never anything to force, nothing to chase, nothing to prove. The life you desired was always waiting for you to claim it. The power was always yours. And now, as you embrace this truth, the world bends to meet you, aligning in perfect harmony with the vision you hold. You are not merely living life, you are creating it. You are not separate from your dreams, you are one with them. And as you step forward, unshaken, unwavering, you understand that this is only the beginning. The universe is yours, because you are the universe.